and water ran full blast out of one supply line for 2.5 minutes.
Even less, yeah.
Even less. Until we ran downstairs and turned the water off at the shutoff valve.
Nice.
That was like $75,000 in damage.
Welcome to our podcast. HQ After Hours, I will introduce Dorinda of stock with Mr. Potty Plumbing,
Yes.
our favorite plumbing company.
Thank you.
I've been knowing Dorinda for almost 2 years. Almost 2 years we've been working together. Rates her a partner, but more importantly, the friendship we developed over like last couple of days, and it feels like more personal. You guys know my wife, I know your husband, you know, like, you know, your employees, and this is my favorite part of it. But also, like, I admire and love, like, you guys, your principles that you live in, and the standard you guys set in, not just in your industry, but in business in general. So I really love that, and the quality of the work. If we have any issue in our house, we always like call you guys. And my wife seriously love the softener you guys install.
Oh, good.
She loves the hair, like literally, like she's like, my hair looks so soft and shiny and silky, and like even with my daughter, like, you know, like with her skin, she had like a little bit of eczema, and this helped a lot with just softening.
Y'all went with the twin tank system, right? The Carbonello.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. So welcome to our podcast, Dorinda. Quick introduction. Can you introduce yourself and what do you guys do? Introduce your company.
Dorinda Obsta, obviously, like Hassan said, Mr. Potty Plumbing. Paul and I have been married for 25 years. Paul's been plumbing for 28 years. We met in high school. We have 2 kids. Our oldest daughter's 24. She's a speech therapist for one of the school districts here in the Houston area. And then our youngest daughter is a junior at the Catholic high school out in Katy. We've been a plumbing company for 16 years. We started as Obsta Plumbing, and then 2 years ago did a name change and rebrand to Mr. Potty. Now we have this fun little space guy, and he's powered by a toilet jetpack, which is also fun. Plumbing's not always fun or exciting. It can be scary and frustrating, and so adding a fun element to it was something that we really wanted to do, because a lot of times our plumbers are heroes. They're coming to shut the water off because it's destroyed their house and waiting for you to get there to start the remediation process. And we just dealt with that one with the mini freeze a couple of weeks ago. She thought she was doing right by shutting off, and it completely flooded her entire house, and she was devastated. But we were able to stop the water. So people don't know that water can quickly destroy. So it doesn't take much.
Correct, right. I really love the rebranding you guys did almost 2 years ago with the name. It's like, I think old school people, they like, you know, they might not like it, but the younger generation, they love it.
The older ladies don't like it. They think it's nasty and gross. But the old men, they giggle and they love it. Boy, oh my gosh, it's great. Don't tell my wife.
Yeah, because when we started like the videos, we started getting controversy. Like, you know, like some people like, they don't look too professional. Some other people, they're so much fun. Like, keep going.
You're goofing off. Get to work.
You know, like it's not like, as long as you're having fun with it and because you're providing great service, that's what's mattering. You know.
Well, what we have learned in the 16 years is we are now dealing with so many generations of buyers. You have the boomers, you have Gen X, you have the millennials, and they all learn differently, and they all navigate a social media platform differently. Like, typically the boomers and Gen Xers are on Facebook. the millennials and other are on Instagram, TikTok. You've got people are using LinkedIn as social media and not just a job search platform. So you really have to be versed in all of those to capture your true audience, because all of those age groups are homeowners. And so that we work in people's homes. And so you can't just walk the straight and narrow with one platform.
And people they're first thing they do is, when they find a company, they do their own research on.
Mm-hmm.
They open their own Instagram, they open their different channels, they open their Google page. So tell us a little bit about, the company started 16 years ago. Did you start with Paul and day one? Or when did you join the team? And
so Paul and I are both owners of the company, but I worked for a law firm for 12 years before coming on to the plumbing company. And he was the first employee of the company. And then we ended up getting 2 or 3 more plumbers and a helper, and actually had an office person for the first 4 years before I came on full time. So I didn't come on full time until 2014. And then I stepped more into an HR role, bigger accounting role, and then all the ins and outs of running the business, insurance and fleet management and all the things that go into that.
So would you say run out of position is general manager or office manager?
It would be more like general manager.
General manager.
So I'm overseeing to make sure that each of our jobs needs to have pictures done on it. They need to present options to the customer. Did they get signatures from the customer? Has payment been collected? I check all of those things. And then on top of insurances, from health insurance, auto insurance, all the different, there's so much that people don't even have an idea on.
And Paul focused more on the jobs.
The jobs.
Plumbing and the commerce.
And then
so that's his experience.
Correct. So he does jobs himself. He oversees the plumbers that are doing their jobs. And then because he's the master plumber, he's the one responsible for pulling permits and coordinating that kind of stuff. So
it's perfect dynamic. It's not perfect. It's great dynamic. What you guys have in the office. I love whole story. How he did some plumbing work in Iraq.
Yeah.
After 2003, was it 2004? Around 2000.
He was in Iraq from July of 2006 to October of 2008.
Okay. Then he was doing plumbing work.
Mm-hmm.
He was explaining to me how plumbing is different. It's a Middle East.
So he would go in, and I did not know any of this until he came back. He was a contractor. He was hired by, I believe, KBR. It might have been Halliburton. So he goes over there, and because of his experience, they very quickly put him in a role where he would go with a personal team of Army guys to the middle of nowhere and plumb in their bathrooms and their laundry and their food stations for them to build a base around that. And then they would bring him back to the big base for a week or two, and then he would go back and do another one. And they would fly in the middle of the night. It was all when it was flies. It was crazy and dangerous, and I had no clue. Or I would have said none. None was
secrets of until he came back.
Yeah,
No
clue. No clue.
This is crazy.
No clue that one time his base was being bombed, and he had just got back. And so there's, I guess, sirens or some kind of announcement where everyone needs to get in the bunker. And he had to go to the bathroom. He had been out and he had been traveling and holding it. And so he was like, no, I'm going to the bathroom. And I didn't know that until he got back either. And I was like, are you kidding me? You could have died on the toilet. It's terrible way for a plumber to get love. Oh my goodness, explaining this to our children. No, thank you. What are you doing? So
that's funny.
He also has a wedding ring in a sand dune over there somewhere because they play co-ed softball KBR against the Army, and he pulled his glove off and his ring went flying, and the sand is so fine there that it just went, and they tried to find it and it's gone. So I joke that some camel's rocking his wedding ring over there. It's all right.
That's fun. The guys here, they have a question for you.
Okay.
If you, Kyle, want to go ahead, ask a question, because the same question Ava has and Jesus as well has.
Okay. Well, basically, like, how does it feel to be a woman and a male dominated field?
It's no different than being at home. I'm a mom at home to girls, and I'm a mom at the office to boys. And let me tell you, boys are nasty. They do all the same things girls do, except just bigger and nastier. They belch wilder. They leave the toilet seat up. But they're great. Like,
yeah,
we have a good crew, a really good crew.
That's true. But you guys are hiring right now.
We are always
hiring. So as a business owner, how do you guys go through the process of hiring as like a plumber?
So word of mouth is my favorite, but because plumbers know plumbers, like most of Paul's friends are plumbers. My other plumbers, their friends are plumbers. So that's my favorite way. And then we run an Indeed post consistently looking for plumbers. So the key is they have to be licensed by the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners. And I will check it. People make up numbers all the time and tell me that they've got this license number that they don't have. I'm going to check it. It's the law.
You showed me once how you got check it and you see if they have complaints or if they have violations. And
yes.
All of these things. So it's a great example.
Yeah, and it's a serious thing. So we're dealing with water, gas, and sewer. Like, any one of those things could kill somebody in the wrong quantity. And so we have to be so extremely careful. And we are protecting not just the homeowner, but everyone in the house. Like, if you cross contaminated water, people could get infections and diseases. If you, same with sewer, gas could kill somebody from carbon monoxide poisoning. Like, you have to know what you're doing. So you have to be licensed. And if the state issues that license, then you've gone through a certain number of hours of service and testing in order to obtain that credential. And so I absolutely check it. I have to.
You can earn it.
The caffeine has arrived.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
No, I asked this question about how the guys hire because every plumbing company we work with, or even HVAC company, like even electrician, this is their biggest struggle.
Yeah.
When you have like license info. For us, it's much easier. It's because it's more certificates and it's easy to give those certificates. All they need to do is go for a week, one class per week, pass the test. They get their certificates.
Okay.
So what tip or what's like, something you can give contractors when it's come to be licensed that's really like worked with you guys?
A tip for the contractor or a tip for hiring? Yeah. So our whole hiring process has changed based on our coaching program, because now we want to hire for talent, so the license, but we also want to hire for character. So we're a Christian-based company, and there's so many seasoned plumbers out there that they want to have a fat paycheck, and so they don't always do right by the homeowner.
Correct.
And that's a huge problem, and we see it every day in our industry. And we don't want to sell you something that you don't need, and we're not going to lie. And so there's questions that we ask during our interview process, so we care.
The fear tactic.
Yep. If you're going to do a fear tactic, you're not going to work for me. Period. The end. I'm a woman. I I handle most of the maintenance coordinating at our house, like when our AC needs to have its maintenance or that kind of stuff. And as a woman, I don't want a man to come into my house and lie or deceive me in what's going on in my own home. And I definitely don't want my employees doing that in somebody else's.
So do you look into the character, into
We asked a lot of scenario questions. So we'll throw out a scenario
and see their answer?
and see how their answers are in regards.
But what about like finding a niece of Indeed, word of mouth?
And then we always let our local suppliers know we're looking, because plumbers come in to buy stuff and they chat at the counter and they know who's hiring and who's not, who's happy where they're at, who's not. And so that's another good way.
Do you guys use recruiters or?
Recruiters? No, we haven't. It's kind of scary because then you're paying for someone to vet somebody, and we already have a really strong vetting process. So if it didn't work, I don't know. I'm really
Plus, it's expensive.
It's expensive, yeah. So then if you get someone that they say is good, and then you get them and find out they're not good, then you're into it for the fee. And
what scares me with the recruiters is because they build the relationship with the person, and then 2-3 years later, then the person calls them back. I want to leave this company, and they recruit them to another company.
No,
and so
back in the day when we did commercial, we used recruiters for commercial plumbers because they're more task oriented. They're not selling to the customer. They don't need to. The job's already been sold. They're just need to do. And recruiting is really good for that. But because we focus on residential and dealing with the homeowner one-on-one, the character component of it is so important because you want someone that's good and honest, taking care of it.
I really like the new guys you guys got. Is it Patrick? Patrick came to my house. He didn't know this. I have even relationship with you.
Okay.
And I was like just giving her a hard time. I was like, well, you work for Dorinda and Paul. Oh, they're horrible people. And then he started defending you guys in a way, but he didn't want to defend me at the same time. No, it's a great company to work with. And I was just, and then he continued like trying to show me what's need to be done. And he came across very informative, not very salesy at all.
Yeah. His favorite line is, I want to fix this so that I never have to come back for this same problem. Like, and they're like, what? You don't want to come back? Not for this issue. Like, when we're done with this toilet, I don't want you to ever have an issue with this toilet ever again. Like, you may have an issue somewhere else.
And it's a great way because, like, you can trust him, you can relate to him, you can feel like, like, at least, like, even if when he leaves the house, and even if he didn't give a job, like, he still held the whole, and that shows, like, care about that.
Yeah.
So you guys don't do much commercial.
Yeah, we will do commercial service. So it has to be like this facility. If your toilet was giving you an issue, or if your water heater went out on an existing already built lease space, we would help with that. But as far as like the new construction, or you just lease the new space and you're having it built out, no, we don't do any of that anymore.
No. That's so funny to me because, like, for every contractor, that's their dream. We're commercial. We do commercial. The handyman, and he does commercial. You don't know how, but like everyone, and you guys trying to exit from that.
Yeah, you're just chasing money. You're financing people's projects. They change. It's frustrating.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. There's companies like you, independent, family operated. There is the franchises. There is the man in the truck, not licensed or anything. And then you got the nationwide
like the big box
plumbing companies, which like
they're needed, but they're not looking out for the customer. So this is how we think of it. You've got your man in a truck. He probably didn't like working for somebody. He wanted to go out on his own, make enough to provide for his family. Doesn't really want to do anything more than that. Then you have a mom and pop like Paul and I. They probably used to work for somebody, and for whatever reason, like the reason we went out on our own was because the companies that he worked for, he worked for 3 companies before we started our own business. He worked for one company that was strictly residential, and they didn't market or network well. And so they had a very slow period for about 4 months out of the year, which meant no paycheck. So when you're a small family, that's not really a good ideal situation for your income. Then he worked for another company that did commercial. Well, strictly commercial typically is good and groovy from January to September. Then they've used all their budget money, and they're only doing emergency or stuff that they absolutely have to between October and December, waiting for the budget to reset. And so they would have slow periods. Again, not ideal for a small family trying to pay their bills. And then he went and worked for medical plumbing in the hospitals, and they kind of operate on the same budget schedule, January through September, this weekend into projects, that kind of thing. So we wanted something where we could be consistent throughout the year round to sustain for our family and for our employees' families. And so that's why we chose the model that we did. Now, the big box companies that are nationwide, they're absolutely necessity. And think of it like this. We operate Monday through Friday, start to finish. Our guys get there around 7:45, and then we're not done until the last call's finished for that day. Don't know what time that could be. It could be anywhere from 3 to 6, 7, 8 into the evening. Usually not that late, but it could be. If something comes in after that, unless it's already our existing customer, they are not handled until the next business day. So say John Doe calls in Friday night. He's never done business with us before, and he has a stopped up toilet. He's not getting a call back until Monday. We think of those big box stores as like your emergency room. Your doctor is not open nights and weekends. So if you had something come up nights and weekends, you would have to go to the emergency room. So they do serve their purpose, and they can get you a Band-Aid or possibly even taken care of, but you're going to pay a price for that. And that's what customers see with those big box stores. You know, they operate crews on shift. So they work 24/7, 7 days a week. And you pay a premium for that. And you may not get the service that you need because their employees work commission only. So if they sell, they make money. And if they don't sell, they don't make money. So they're not always honest because they want to make money.
Yeah. And it's like a homeowner we worked with in the past. They had the big issue because plumbing company, because people think plumbing is so simple. It's not. It's not. It's like, like with rapid response, when we get a job, like a lot of the time it's failure in applying. Like it's even a design or like originally but when failure happened or something went to get it fixed, that's the struggle, because they don't know who they need to talk to. With you guys, it's easy. Like, you have a big issue, like they can talk to you or Paul, and you guys are going to take care of it and take full responsibility. But with a big organization, it drags for 1 month, 2 months, and what's worst thing the homeowner is going to do? Leave a bad review? They have thousands of reviews. It's not
going to impact them.
Back them. But another model is the franchise, and the franchise is, I think the hardest part of hiring a franchise is they don't have someone like Paul, which is the master plumber. That even if you hire a plumber, he's good, you trust, but when you have someone on top of him like Paul, knowing what he wants to do, like giving him a call, like going through the advice, through the experience, that's gold. You know, that's golden. So that's the franchise. So like, tell us a little bit about the franchise word. Like,
So it depends on what franchise. Now, we're not a franchise, but it is something that we aspire to do one day in a Texas feel. Like, we wouldn't branch out of Texas.
okay, so people to get the name is Potty and open their own plumbing company under you guys.
Correct. That's a goal, but like down the road goal. But our experience with the smaller franchises are that you have a manager that doesn't have plumbing experience, and so you don't have the knowledge, just like you were talking about. They don't have a call. And so they have a master plumber, but did he just take the test, or has he actually worked in the capacity of running a company and running a crew? And so those two anybody that has a journeyman with 2 more years of experience can take the master's test. Doesn't necessarily mean that you should be running a company or running a crew.
Correct. Because you mentioned earlier here in Houston, this is one of the challenges because of the oil industry, and they have the seasonal.
Yeah, you get engineers or people in the oil and gas field, and when that market's taking a hit, they take some money out of their 401k, they go buy a franchise. They think, okay, this is the way to make it work, but they don't know anything about the plumbing industry, or very little. Like, maybe they're some kind of piping engineer, but you don't know about putting in water heaters and toilets and that kind of thing. And so they don't know about hiring skilled labor. They don't know about hiring somebody to run all of the processes and how to deal with the customer and everything. So then they don't do well. And then usually the oil industry or the engineering industry, they go up and down. And so they're running up. They throw that franchise to the side and like, I'm going to go back to my real job. And then you've got a flop.
That's when we try to hire a controller here in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, they're so expensive compared to different states because of Houston, the oil and gas. You know, like you're talking about like 40,000-50,000 higher in salary than other states.
Yeah.
Because they came from that. Right. How do you guys do business? Like, this is like, I'm talking about like smaller businesses, people who just started their plumbing company. Not even plumbing company, like, you know, any, you know, home services. Always the biggest role is bringing business.
So we met in BNI, Business Network International. I've been a member in BNI for 15 and a half years. It'll be 16 in June.
And your husband, he's Paul, he's another BNI, correct?
He was
okay
for 5 years, but now that we have a good solid crew, he gets everyone educated and jazzed up in the morning to get headed to their jobs. So the BNI doesn't really work for his schedule anymore. But then just being active in our community, I did the Katy high school football program for 10 years. So I was active at football games, just being a servant in your community, like doing all the things, the back to school programs. And we have a golf ball launcher that we will do like a day for, if a nonprofit is having a golf tournament, we will offer our services to the tournament where we do a golf ball cannon on one of the holes. It raises money per golfer, and we donate that money back to the charity that is hosting the tournament. So there's info on our social media pages about that.
That's awesome. How about the online presence, like Google Ads or Google Guaranteed? Or
we do all of that. Kind of have to play in all of that areas, because Google is called the Internet Mafia, and you have to play that in order to be present online when people are searching for plumbers in their area.
And it's expensive for us. We have a big budget just for the online.
Yeah, it is expensive. And And then we do TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I think YouTube. YouTube's real big right now.
What pays off the most? You say networking and building relationships, or
That and that and reviews.
reviews?
Our guys have review incentive because it's huge and people comment on it when they're booking. I saw the reviews. With why I tried to go with you.
Yeah, this is definitely problems with a bad review. Like one bad review can't save 20 good reviews.
Depends on how you reply it. You have to reply to that review.
Correct.
And the reply is really what. So what I've found over the years, and I think we have like 2 bad reviews on Mr. Potty and maybe 4 on Obstack. Those people are cranky. And if you look at those people, they only leave bad review. And so that weighs when other people are looking. Like when I look at reviews and I see a bad review, I always go and look, does that person leave good reviews? Because you just have sometimes negative people in the world, and that's all they do. But yeah, reviews are huge, and we incentivize our guys for them.
That's good. That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about, because I know you mentioned you guys brought in coach and he been helping you guys last 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. And like for me, like when I started Raptors Funds, I was like debating between should I go franchise, because I have a background and experience in the restoration industry, but I'm coming to new city. Should I start franchise or start something independent? Then I realized, like, you know what? I'm just gonna go independent, and I'm just gonna hire a coach to help me sort the whole process and everything. And it was the best decision I've made, I think.
Because you're not paying royalties and others
Nothing. That's
crazy stuff that you can't control.
correct. And how running the way out in terms of business. So, with you guys, how did that reshaped the company? And also, you guys are part of C12, which is Christian valued like coaching as well.
Correct.
So
first, our plumbing coach he coaches plumbing companies strictly in the U.S. I think he's got somewhere between 40 and 50 clients. And he's a current part owner of a plumbing company, and he's bought and sold plumbing companies in the past. So he has the full blueprint, which I had never owned a business before. Paul had never owned a business before, so we didn't even know like where to start. And so he gave us that full blueprint, the policies, the job descriptions for each position, and then the metrics in which to gauge everything on. So we've got like a whole dashboard now that we can navigate so that it takes us out of working on the business, like on creating the business, to where we can focus on the people in the business, if that makes sense, and to make sure that they're performing and then holding people accountable. And we will have that relationship with him forever. Like, he's constantly bringing new material. He talks about different things. AI is huge. Personality testing people at the interview process to see if you're putting the right person in the right seat. All of that is such a huge factor. And then as far as C12 goes, I've been in C12 since April of 22, and that just has helped us navigate that you can be a Christian run business and do things so many people don't know. Like, they're scared, like, maybe I can't say I'm a Christian run business, or maybe I can't say or do this because it's faith-based or whatever.
That's what I like about you guys. You guys are so open about your belief, about your principles, and very vocal about it. And I love that, because like it's bringing the authenticity out of you, because people want like something legit. They don't want like someone fake. So I really love this. With that, coach, um how, so it's helped you more like hoping to, instead of like being inside the business.
So, for example, we had an employee that worked for us that got lung cancer, and he was the father of another one of our employees. And while he was dying, this employee is also Paul's best friend. And it had us really like torn apart. Justin needed to be there for his dad. He was our employee though, and he was crying out to Paul, like, what do I do? My dad is dying. Paul's trying to run the business and keep things going on this end, but wanted to be compassionate for his friend. And what C12 helped us realize is that there's an organization called Marketplace Chaplains. And so we didn't have it at that time, but we have it now, where we have a chaplain. He's assigned to our company. He pops in a couple of times a month. There's an app. Any of our employees can reach out to him 24/7. And so had we had that, when that situation was going on, that chaplain could have gone and been there with Justin and like prayed with him and his dad, helped take some of the personal pressure off of us, because we wanted to be there for him, but we also had a business to run. And since then, since getting Marketplace Chaplains, we've had 2 employees that have been hospitalized, and he's gone up there and been with them and their families. It's just it's a very neat program, and you don't know what you don't know when you're in a situation. But we saw through C12 and some of the curriculum that there was this company out there that allowed that navigated that whole realm that we couldn't be pulled in, not because we didn't want to, just because time didn't allow it. We were working and keeping the business afloat. And so to know that there's that comfort and spiritual, but not necessarily spiritual. We've got a bunch of guys that claim to not be anything, and they still talk with the chaplain on the regular, and they help with all kind of things like financial stress and marriage stress, parenting stress. We have a couple of employees that are co-parenting, like their spouse was previously divorced, and the chaplain has had conversations with them regarding all the craziness that can go involved with back and forth kids and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. Where do you see, like, as you and Paul, what do you see Mr. Potty in 5 years from now? Do you guys have like blueprint or plan? What do you guys like to do? How's planning looks like?
Man, I hate to say things like this out in the open, because I had big plans in the last 2 years and they've been kind of derailed. With that, like that first Mr. Potty van that we got had 300 miles on it, and then was totaled from an employee not paying attention while they're driving. We plan to duplicate the existing blueprint is 2 service managers, 8 techs, a general manager, operations manager, and 2 ESRs. That's a $4 million company. The plan is in the next 5 years to have 2 of those, and to be office cities. Probably not different. Yes, technically, Houston's so big, but we're in Katy, and then we've talked about Magnolia or the Woodlands, or like further up north.
That's great.
Just areas that are continuing to explode.
That's amazing. That's all like because some people have planning, but I know you guys have like also the blueprint how to get into that plan.
Yeah,
and that's like, because like with no planning, with no goals and like timelines, it's just really hard to get to why you guys do all of this building like for me, like personally, I'm trying to build this company, trying to build a podcast. I'm trying to build something that, one day it's legacy for the family.
That's exactly.
So what's your vision, like, as why you guys doing all of this? It's easier to be employee and just get paid month to month and have an easy life.
It wouldn't. So neither of our daughters seem interested in running the business or being involved in the business. But I think our biggest thing is to impact our community and impact the industry. And we're not just impacting our industry, we're impacting God's kingdom by people that walk through our door, know the kind of people that we are and how we live. And I would never classify us as Bible thumpers or preaching perfection or anything like that. We're human. We fall. We make mistakes. But it's the grace in how you handle those mistakes and forgiveness that allow you to achieve great things. And so I think just showing our industry and showing our community that you can be a Christian-based company. You can be a Christian. You don't have to hide it, and great things come from doing that. It takes hard work and dedication.
That's awesome. Let's talk about how we always meet together. Let me just
You were gonna bust out with a knock joke? But who's there? It's a song.
No, I want to talk a little bit about how we do work together, because like, you guys get a call, house has a wire damage or flood or whatever, and you guys like give us a call, help us. What's a good advice to give like homeowners to prevent like these damages, like where do you see like the most damage happen? And also and
A couple of things. Homeowners don't know where their shutoff valve is that they're hacked. And that is huge. They think, oh, I'll just shut it off at the street. So statistics on water, like 8 gallons of water can cause like $30,000 or more in damage. Is that inaccurate?
Depends on like the area it was flooded on. If it's in the kitchen, you have to remodel the whole kitchen. If it's in the closet, just
okay. Well, we'll go back to that house that we flooded. We were upstairs, second story. The supply line didn't get connected. We turned the water on, and water rained full blast out of one supply line for 2.5 minutes.
Even less. Yeah.
Even less. Until we ran downstairs and turned the water off at the shutoff valve. That was like $75,000 in damage. It destroyed the kitchen, and our insurance had to take care of that. So that was just 2.5 minutes to go downstairs to the shutoff valve. If we'd had to go to the street, you can't just go to the street and shut it off. You need a tool. So you got to find the tool, and then you got to go to the street to turn it off. Do you know where that tool is? Like, it could have gone for 5 to 10 minutes. Now, the one that we referred you to, the man and block system, that water ran for 30 minutes before Paul could get it shut off.
Correct.
And I don't even know what the damage is on that 1-story house.
I think so.
Yeah, it can be. I think like 2 inches of water everywhere is what I heard. So 2 inches of water, you got to cut up 4 feet.
Yeah, it's spread more for sure. And then you got bigger problems, more money. You got the mitigation, the pack out, you get the reconstruction, and it's not just like the house is not livable for 3 months, while you're doing all of this work.
Yeah.
And just recently we worked on a house that the guy insurance sent him a notice he need to fix the roof, but he didn't. And then he has a water damage, just medication and health was several thousand. We submitted to the insurance company, and then the insurance company, like we can insert your policy 2 days before the damage because he didn't have the new roof. So now that's without reconstruction. So now he's trying to take a loan of $150,000 to bring his house back. It was like for small plumbing issue, it would have been fixed really quick, or not fixed, avoided.
Yeah, I think so. Knowing where your shutoff valve is, not knowing of it can be catastrophic. Knowing where it is can save time and money on a water failure.
Knowing the valve.
So we call them emergency stops. They're called angle valves. There's a handful of names for them, but every toilet, sink, dishwasher, laundry has the two valves, the hot and the cold. Well, the toilet would only have one because it was cold, but there's gate valves, which is a valve that turns like a dam. They don't shut all the way. Sometimes if they're not exercised regularly, they're older, they seize up. So getting those replaced. And then, and we've talked before about push-pull stops, which are a plastic shut off in that same area that you push it and then turn it and pull it. The crack had come off in the hand, and then there's let it build it. And so just knowing if you have those, and then if you do have those, getting replaced is huge, would save time in a potential situation.
And also maintenance, make sure the water heater, would you agree with me? A water heater running good, and also running camera for the sewer line to make sure it's not clogged.
And that there's not root intrusion. We have root intrusion in our area so much. The ground shifts because we live in a very humid environment, but in the summer we're prone to drought. And so the ground shifts and the joints in the sewer line can crack or just pull apart. And just the slightest little sliver into that sewer line, the roots will find it because it's food for them. And so then you get a root ball or something of that sort in your sewer line, and then people flush wipes. They don't break down in the sewer system, and so they get caught around that, and then it creates stoppages, and it can be disastrous.
This is even worse because most policies, they don't even cover sewer backup, actually, with insurance. So it's more damage, much more expensive to deal with, and insurance don't.
That's it.
Last thing I would like, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start home servicing business? Is everyone designed for it, or no? You have to have different talents to get in the game more. What
you do have to have thick skin to get into the game for sure. Everybody is not designed for it. And I don't think Paul and I would be successful at it if it wasn't Paul and I, because we're two totally different people, and anyone that's met both of us knows that we both excel at certain things. Yes, we're opposites, complete opposites, and so it takes a team. Well, just like raising a family, it takes a village. It takes a team to run a successful business. It's not any one person doing it all on their own.
That's awesome. That's really great advice. Last thing, if people want to reach out to you guys, social media, you said you're as in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, visit under Mr. Potty Plumbing.
Yes.
Okay.
And our website's Call Mr. Potty.
Cool.
CallMrPotty.com.
And you guys have a lot of articles and tips for plumbing with the website.
We do. We do a monthly newsletter that has various things from hurricane prep to how to protect your home in a freeze, all of the good stuff.
Okay, perfect. If people have plumbing issue, You guys serve more the western side of Houston, Katy, Fulcher, Brookshire.
So our exact service area is 99 from 99 to 59, which is Sugar Land, to 99 and 290 Cypress.
Okay.
I-10 to Sealy, Columbus area, and I-10 to just east of the Beltway, the Memorial City area. So if you take those four quadrants and connect them, that's our service area.
Okay. Perfect. And people can just call and schedule a meeting with you guys, and if it's in somewhat.
Absolutely. They can also book online through our website.
Okay, perfect.